Thank you so much. Alrighty. So, like I mentioned before, it's also important to make sure that your end conditions kind of make sense, and that you that when you're like building a roadway template or a sidewalk template or something like that, that your toes of fill, top of cut um, are all going to actually like reflect what you want in your design. So here, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to turn on my left end conditions. So this one I have set up as a rule so that when this null point is to the left of the center line, all of my left end conditions are going to turn on. And you can see now that it's moved to the left, here are all of my end conditions. What I have set up here is kind of just a basic template of end conditions. We've got a point of slope selection down here, 6-to-1 slope off of the edge of pavement. It is 30 feet out for a clear zone. These parametric constraints here are can be modified in your corridor. If that's desired, if you want to bring in your clear zone down to 20 feet or whatever, if you want your clear zone to be at a 10-to-1 rather than a 6-to-1, all of this can be modified in your corridor, or you can modify it here if you know that it's going to broadly apply to your whole design. But branching from here, what we have are these points, these end conditions here. So this one here is a 6-to-1 cut slope. And what I have here is I've set it up as a set of priorities. From any given branch point for your end conditions, you need to set up priorities to make sure that your end conditions aren't going to conflict with each other. You're setting up a hierarchy of like first look for this end condition, then this end condition, then this end condition, then this end condition, right? So I'll actually start with what I have. I believe this one should be number 1. Yeah, this one is priority number 1. So what it's saying is this is always going to be the first end condition I'm looking for, which is a fill at 6-to-1 off of the safety edge. This 6-to-1 fill, though, you'll notice has a horizontal offset of 12 feet from that safety edge, or I'm sorry, from that point of slope selection. And it will end at that 12 feet there. It's not going to go any farther than that. That's this end condition is infinite button here. I've turned that off. I'm saying look for a 6-to-1 up to the point where the existing ground is 12 feet away from that point of slope selection. Next one here is a 4-to-1. You can see that. Same thing. So it's priority 2. When I go to this point here, I'm saying, all right, now look out to 58 feet horizontally maximum. You can also set, sorry, smacked something on my desk. You can also set that as a vertical control if you would like to. So you can say, all right, maximum of 14.5 feet down from it. And it will always, it's going to go all the way out to that point. And then it will switch again because this end condition is off. And then what I'm saying for this here is this is our 3-to-1 slope. It's going to be priority 3. But you can see here now that 3-to-1 slope and the end condition is infinite. So what it's saying is if I'm in a fill condition, I'm going to look for this out to 12 feet horizontally. Then I'm going to look for this out to 58 feet horizontally. And then anything past that is going to be 3-to-1 slope. If I go to that test view here, and I'm going to just draw my my existing surface, you can see, look, it'll go out to that point, and then once it gets past that point, it needs to switch over, and then once it gets past that point, it's going to switch over again. So anything past those points where this is not going to hit, it's going to switch to the next one. The same thing with these cut conditions. This one here is a 6-to-1. It's limited to there. This will be priority 4. priority 5, and priority 6. Again, the reason that all of these are sort of in that sequential order, and it's not 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, is they are all branching from this same point. When you have those end conditions, if you're branching from the same point, you have to have unique priorities set to each end condition coming off of that point. I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and we can take some questions about end conditions.